All right. So before we start here, Seth was supposed to be in, and he said he was pushing a stroller during the show, but he's having some technical difficulties. So we're just going to roll with me and Wes. But speaking of that, stroller calls while walking, here's the deal. At some point, when you have a baby and you own a business, that stroller becomes the office. Right. I know I've actually closed like major partnership deals with my kids in a stroller or on the jungle gym at the park. And you're sitting there hoping they don't fall while you're having these conversations. There's one time I had to cut a call short because my 18-month-old daughter was stung by a bee at the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world is over.
Oh, dude. Also, I'm like, I don't know. I hope she's not allergic. She's 18 months old. I guess we'll find out. Like, I got to go.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
all right. But let's do this real quick. It's the Have You Ever Fit Baby Dad edition. All right. Have you ever? So, Wes, have you ever worn a weight vest or rucksack while pushing the stroller?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Like almost every time, I think.
Yeah. I actually just keep it in the bottom so I can pop it on before I start pushing. And then my wife doesn't know. So she's just getting weighted pushes, doesn't it? All right. Have you ever pushed the stroller around the neighborhood without a shirt on?
Of course, types off, baby.
Absolutely. You got to let them know.
Who else is gonna let them know if you don't let them know?
I had a shoulder surgery when my oldest was a baby. And Seth, can you hear us? Yeah, he's in. Oh, he's out. All right. We'll just keep rolling. Okay. All right. Without a shirt on, I had a shoulder surgery when Maddie was a baby. And so I'll tell you what, if you think pushing a stroller without a shirt on gets some looks from the neighbors, wear a no shirt, a sling, push a stroller. Dude, everybody wants to know what's up.
That's what I'm talking about. That's just reason. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Get some blood flow. Heck yeah.
Dude, this D isn't going to get itself. All right. And then have you ever done pull-ups with the baby in a pack or chest carrier?
Yes.
Just like for show or as a workout?
Both.
Yeah, that is the correct answer. Okay. All right. So far, you're 100% on this quiz. Have you ever used the baby still in the car seat like a kettlebell and hit a few very controlled Russian swings?
And some Turkish get-ups for sure. Yeah.
I've never done the TGUs. But the swings, actually, it was one of my tricks. Like when she was like, sometimes she's crying. Some people put it in the car and go for a drive. I would pop her in the car seat and hit some swings. Dude, it worked every time.
They're like, wee.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, we used to tie a rope around it and just kind of get her in a little swing on the rope.
Oh, dude. Let's set your back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're in.
Dude. Okay. Where are we? What's going on?
We're starting over. We're starting over.
Okay.
All right. Before we start, Seth, you were supposed to be pushing a stroller, but you're sitting in a car. What's going on?
I had to cover for a coach. I had to cover for a coach last minute, so my entire day got flipped on its head.
No, that's a real answer. We're saying how, with the strollers, at some point, pushing a stroller becomes the office. And so how many times have you been on business calls while pushing the stroller?
Oh, frequently. And what I actually like doing it because I throw on a ruck pretty much every time. And I just I get an hour of pushing a stroller at a time. So I literally ruck like 4 hours a week now. It's kind of awesome.
All right. Well, you unknowingly ruined the next segment. But it's okay. We'll pop in it. We'll pop in there anyway. I was telling Wes before he got on that I actually, the kids were in the park one time and I was on a pretty important business call. Like we were like closing this partnership deal. It was a big one. And all of a sudden she's screaming, 18 months old, just stung by a bee. She was picking flowers, and there's a bee on the flower. And I was like, I don't know if she's allergic. She's 18 months old. Like, I got to go.
That's brutal.
Yeah. But they were super understanding. I was like, hey, look, here's what happened. They're like, oh, dude, no worries. Like, we'll talk tomorrow. And it all worked out,
It's still in the moment. That feeling is terrible.
Oh, 100%. I'm like, I got to take this kid home, get some ice on this thing, see if she's going to go into if I need an EpiPen or something. Like, I don't know what's going on. Right. And so,
are you breathing?
So we're going to do a Have You Ever Fit Baby Dad edition.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is, have you ever worn a weighted vest or rucksack while pushing the stroller?
Pretty much almost every day now. Yes, it's awesome.
Wes said pretty much every time. I would, and sometimes I was telling I would just put it sometimes in the bottom, so my wife was doing weighted pushes unknowingly. Have you ever pushed the stroller around the neighborhood without a shirt on?
Multiple times. Yep. And without a shirt on and a ruck on. So like major hard-out move right there. Like just embracing the rash I'm going to get on my shoulders from the back straps.
Or the lower back. Sometimes a ruck, I'll get like a lower back rash, you know?
You're right. But definitely I have, yes.
I'm afraid that the scars from it is going to, the scab's going to mess up my tramp stamp too.
That's a real problem.
Might be a good thing.
It's big. It's a concern. All right. Now, have you ever done pull-ups with the baby in a backpack or chest carrier?
No, I've watched my wife do it, but I've never done it.
Wes?
Yes, of course.
There. And then Wes, is that a workout or just for show?
Both.
Correct answer. Seth, you have not, so you failed. But your wife, does she do that as part of the workout or just for show?
It's not for show because she probably didn't film it, but she just probably wanted to see if she could do it.
There, and you didn't film it?
No, I know.
So double fail. All right. Now, because no one knows it happened. Have you ever used the baby still in the car seat like a kettlebell and hit a few Russian swings?
Wow, I feel like I'm such an amateur dad. No, I have not.
How old is this baby?
She just turned 1 year.
That's long enough to know these things.
I know.
What about you, Wes?
Yeah, of course, and multiple Turkish get-ups as well, and all sorts of stuff.
So I never did Turkish get-ups. This is a parenting tip, actually. And although she's 1 now, so maybe out of the carrier car seat pretty soon. But that was my trick. Instead of putting her in the car and driving around when she's crying, I'd pop her in the car seat. It's like the rocker, you know, and I was kind of like do some Russian swings every time. It kept her quiet. And I got so many wide leg Russian swings in over that first year.
I like that.
Never made it to never made it to the kettlebell snatches though. Never did snatches with the car seat. All right. So what about this one? Have you ever done baby wall balls?
I definitely I missed the target, but I've definitely thrown the baby in the air and done a squat with her. Yes, I have done that, but all no reps.
All no reps. You haven't hit the target. I mean,
No.
After they have net control, obviously, we're not savages, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Wes?
No. Throw them in the pool a couple times, but no wall balls with my kids. No.
Oh, dude, in the pool, I let them rip. It's I threw shot put in high school. Dude, I get into these kids. And then they get older and they jump off your shoulders. But when you can still get them in your palm, dude.
That's June right now. I could put her in my butt.
Boom!
Just launch her. She weighs like 30 pounds. It's
It's my favorite thing. It's so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the air, they're doing the backwards. Now, you know, not hitting the wall, but just in the air. You go for max height on those, or you just want to give them a little wee.
There's like a sweet spot where she's excited by it, not terrified by it. So I just tried. That's the target for me is get the uncontrollable laughter and not the terrified screams. So whatever that is.
Yeah, I do those and then eventually I can't help it. I'm like, well, let's just see what we got.
Let's see. You push the limits a little bit. Yeah.
push the limits. Yeah. All right. There we go. So we're good now that we understand that babies are elite workout partners, basically a rotating substitute for a sandbag, med ball, and occasionally a kettlebell. Let's talk about training as a dad. So I did that one. Welcome to Not in My Box. With me today, 2 guys with experience in the dad life where sleep is optional and training is negotiated. So first up, we have Seth Page, head programmer for Jump Ship Training, gym owner, professional skeptic, and new father, which means recovery is more of a theoretical concept. If you see him pushing the stroller during this call, which he's not, but that's not disrespect either. That's just life. And also Wes Piatt, CrossFit Redshirt affiliate owner, coach of coaches, father of 2, and now a brand new puppy. If he looks distracted, just know there's probably something being chewed on or some furniture being chewed on off camera. So, sleeping right now. You did show me a book though. We got into a book yesterday. Early reader. He loves getting right on the edges there. All right. And I'm Danny Lehr from Caffeine Kilos, gym owner, coffee dealer, father of 2, and still a baby holder because there's a 1-year-old that lives next door. Plus, babies hang out at every CrossFit gym I've been to.
There's always one about to be born, one that was just born, or one that's coming soon. Yeah.
Dude, CrossFit of fertile people.
Yes, definitely.
That is
we
for
just
sure.
had Stephanie in my last class who's like literally about to pop, and she won't listen to me when I'm like, hey, let's go to dumbbells for the clean. She's like, shut up. I'm like, okay, cool. Barbell sounds great. Every time.
Or you get like it's like 7 months pregnant, so they've got some more mass, and they're uncomfortable, but they don't feel like they're about to pop yet, and like they accidentally PR their squat, and I'm like, don't do that. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, if you think of like the some of the Iranian like weightlifters, they have a stomach as big as a pregnant woman that they move that barbell around, and they use that mass to go upward when they drive. So, I mean, is it that much different? I don't know.
Dude, there's a story. This is a true story. I want to say Cuban, might have been Brazilian, might be a completely different country. I don't know. But there was a woman, and she was a super heavyweight in weightlifting, and her water broke on the platform at like national championships or like Pan Ams or something. She didn't know she was pregnant.
She was like 9 months pregnant.
Crazy.
Yeah. Like, it nuts. And then, I mean, there's a whole list of, we could do an entire show on the like implications of that going on. Like, was she amenorrheic because she was so overweight, or because her training volume was high, but there wasn't a low body fat situation? Anyway, a lot to that story. That's a true story. You should look it up if you ever want a good time.
How long ago was that?
This was, I mean, it was since Caffeine and Kilos. I mean, it was in the last 10 years.
I wonder what that kid's like now.
Probably strong.
Freaking ripped.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I was literally born on the platform.
Yeah, seriously.
I was born for this.
I hope that kid goes to the Olympics and does weightlifting and is like, no, I was literally born on the platform. Like,
born for it. Okay. Before anyone listens to your training advice, we need to establish how compromised you actually are. So just a quick get to know you, dad brain edition. When is the last time you slept 8 hours straight? Was that before or after becoming a parent? Wes?
After. I've had a few good ones in there, every once in a while. Now the kids are a little older, so for sure. Yeah.
Seth, when's the last time?
After. I've had plenty of them. Yeah.
Oh, nice. For sure. I mean, my kids are like 8 years old, my youngest, so I'm pretty in the clear there. True or false? You've hurried out the door to go train, fully aware the baby was awake, and pretended not to hear it.
No, false. I just bring her with me.
Yeah, false. No, I haven't had that situation yet. I'm sure I will, though, but I have not yet.
Yeah, my wife doesn't listen to these, so I'm going to be honest and say, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, oh, I hear something. I'm going to go now. I'm going to get out of here. All right. You ever sneak a rip off the kid's applesauce packet? Wes?
I mean, before Fuel for Fire was a thing, I remember going into the baby food aisle and getting applesauce and stuff at like competitions and everything. Yeah. But that was actually before I had kids.
You're not getting into Joey's backpack and stealing her applesauce.
They are always coming to the gym and taking all the Fuel for Fires. I'm always like, hey, stop stealing all the dang Fit Aids and Fuel for Fires.
Oh, dude. What about you, Seth?
She pretty much eats what I eat. So she's taking all my food. We share pretty much all our meals. So yeah, I mean, whatever she's eating, I'm eating. So I haven't had to steal anything specific to her.
Man, I feel like you guys are afraid someone's listening. All right.
No, I mean, I don't feed a bunch of like baby to the as soon as she could eat solid food, she's eating my meals just cut up small. So
yeah, we pretty much did the same thing, but there's like applesauce packets and stuff like that, floating around.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've tried actually. Okay, here we go. I've tried everything she's had if there's been a packet, but yeah, I haven't been stealing it for my own gains or anything.
It's like those baby num nums. I'm like, why do you love these things, man? It tastes like cardboard. It's like it tastes like a communion wafer, but they're just into it, man. Love the body of Christ.
Shake that thing. They're like,
yeah. Have you or would you just put a little bit of that breast milk in your coffee? Wes? No. Seth?
I would, but I haven't. That stuff's like sacred gold, and my wife does not around when it comes to where every drop of that goes. So I have never crossed her on that. So I would, but I have not.
That's exactly the same situation here. My wife, she's a nurse and she was working nights. And so like she was making sure to pump and like, yeah, it was like liquid gold and then I was, defrosting it, feeding the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And so like, dude, if I got busted on this, that would be it. That'd be the end of the that potentially.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I don't play around when it comes to breast milk. No.
Now our old neighbor ran out of freezer room and was popping some in our garage freezer. Every now and then I was like, there's a whole lot in there, but I was like, I think drinking not my wife's, putting someone, that might be over the line. That's probably too far.
If you're stealing, it is, but I think that people are on like Facebook Marketplace looking for overproducers, like this bodybuilders and that go for that stuff.
Hey, also, like a wet nurse is something that's been around since beginning of time. You got kids, drinking other people's breast milk, so maybe not that big of a deal.
Totally.
Get one of those weightlifting gym.
Dude, it's peak performance fuel. You know what I mean? And so maybe in the name of recovery, that's something we should all look into a little more. Sure. All right, now that we understand everyone's moral flexibility about nutritional standards, let's talk training here. So here is the lie that everyone believes, that becoming a dad automatically means one of two outcomes. Either you stop training completely or you become the guy whose entire personality is someone's got to carry the boats. Neither of those is useful, because becoming a dad doesn't ruin your training. It removes the fake variables. Sleep's limited, time's tight, stress is higher, recovery is unpredictable, which means that everything that didn't really matter before gets exposed real fast. So the question isn't, how do you train like you used to? It's this: what actually matters when training has to survive real life? What's essential? What's optional? And what's just ego dressed up as discipline? Because there's a difference between adapting your training and quietly quitting while still paying your gym membership. Right. So let's start with the big picture here. Everyone says things change to become a dad. Fine. But what actually has to change? Is it volume, intensity, exercise selection, or is it just the ego? Seth, what do you think?
I think it really does come down to what you kind of said as you were briefing this, is the little details, the nuances, the wasted time, the extra mobility sessions, like those things take a back seat. You don't get the luxury of an extra 30 minutes sitting around the gym. So a lot of mornings, if I have like 5 a.m. clients 3 or 4 days a week, like one-on-one clients. So I'm in there at 4:15 if I get in there. So I might have 30 good minutes to myself to get as much in as I can. Some days I'm just going to do some strength work. All I can wrap my head around is some very basic strength work, and like I'm totally happy with that. Other times, if I'm going to do a Metcon, let's say it's a 5-round workout, I'm not doing much of a warm-up other than going through the range of motion of each movement once or twice to make sure there's nothing that's going to surprise me. And then the first round of that 5 is a slow warm-up. And then I'm into it with intensity for the next 4 rounds to the best of my ability for that day based on how I feel. I'm just more efficient with the time I have. It's not optimal, but it's certainly not, I'm not, mailing it in. Like I'm going to go for it and I'm just going to use my time more efficiently. And I think you just have to accept that that's where you're at this point and be satisfied with the work you can get in, and actually be, this sounds a little corny, but a little proud of yourself when you really just want a moment to yourself to sit there and almost feel sorry for how tired you are. But instead you did a little exercise. And I think that's a big win.
That whole first round is the warm up. Like that's something
that's the key.
That's the key.
I was like, that's how I've lived my life.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, the line doesn't stretch, right? All right, Wes, what do you think? Is it the volume, intensity, exercise selection? Like what actually has to change, when you have, especially younger kids and you're fighting that battle?
I know for myself, it was just my mindset that like it had to be this perfect training day type, or else it was not worth it, and it was like all or nothing. And instead it's like, hey, I got 10 minutes between calls. Like Seth was saying, I'm doing, 100 burpees for time, or AMRAP at 10 minutes of burpees or something like that. And it's just, for me, it was like, that was an excuse that I was making, that like, oh, I don't have the time to train because I can't do these 3 things, versus like, I got 10 minutes. Let's see how many burpees I can get done and let's see what I can do. So for me, it was a mindset shift that like, whatever I was wanting to feel was on the other side of doing something now. And whatever I could do now, well, let's get it done. Because on the other side of that, I was going to feel better. Right. And so I had to have that mindset shift in order to just like do what I needed to do that day to feel better, not like, oh, I have to have this perfect training day.
And I think Wes and I are obviously have very different backgrounds in terms of athletics. Like I've always pretty much been a one and done or maybe a second little piece. Like I'm not training to compete where Wes is a past games athlete. So like our level of training I think have different standards, but I don't think that matters either. I think both of us have our goals and priorities and we just find our own ways to get them in with similar struggles. So I think these kind of answers really do apply to everybody, whether you're an affiliate member or a garage gym type of guy, or you are really long term trying to train to compete. I think you can get a lot from both of those things.
Yeah. So when we had our first child, I was still competing in weightlifting and I was following the Cal Strength. It was 9 sessions a week. And, that is just not practical, really for most people with the job, but I was making it work. Well, so then I cut down to the five times a week program because they had like a couple tiers in there. And I cut down to 5 sessions a week and started hitting PRs again.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, I thought this is an interesting revelation for me because I thought it was like an age thing. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense because I was, whatever, I was 30. And so we're probably not recovering the same and stuff. Well, it's probably a combination, right? It's like not only was I getting a little bit older, but also having kids and probably not sleeping as much and just all the other responsibilities and headspace that takes up as far as time constraints and different things probably has a big impact. But yeah, the whole idea of just getting it done is a big thing. I think if everything has to be perfect, then it's not going to happen. And realizing that anything's better than nothing. And if you just kind of set up a bar, do some quick joint mobility stuff, set up a bar in the first round as the warm up, then that's all good.
I think it's also really important to like have a library of things that you can do without equipment, right? And like
Yeah.
little kind of like Rolodex of like, hey, if I don't have equipment, here's a few workouts I know I can do. Like 1 burpee on the first minute, 2 on the second, 3 on the third, or Tabata air squats, bottom to bottom, stuff like that. Just being like, okay, I know if I'm kind of sore with my legs, maybe I can do this, or if I'm sore with my upper body, maybe I could do this. So, yeah.
And that leads us perfectly into where training actually happens now. Right. It's a lot of times it's not perfect sessions. It's not ideal conditions. It's the margins. It's hotel rooms, garages, driveways, living rooms where one loud noise might ruin your day. Right. So, what counts now, right? Is 15 minutes or 10 minutes enough to matter? Is one lift enough to matter? How much progress is just not stopping?
Well, I mean, if you just look at the methodology of CrossFit, it was always workouts should be short and intense, right? And I really have lived by that methodology forever. So even though we make our classes an hour because coaching is such a important part of progression, at a certain point, I don't need to be coached on the basics. I can do at home today, and maybe somebody
Sure.
can pick something up for me later on and improve my push press or whatever. But I can at least move well enough that I can apply intensity in a very short window of time and get something in. And I do think that when you look back at the things that aren't going well, that are a bit out of your control, like you talked about earlier, lack of sleep, maybe even your nutrition, you don't have time to prep your food the way you used to. You're just kind of eating what you can when you can. You don't have as much time to decompress. You're dealing with the stress of the baby, or maybe even your wife's more stressed out, so you're picking up more slack for her. Those things all impact the way you're going to recover from training. So you really don't want that extra dose anyway. A lot of times you just want that minimum effective dose. Try your best to recover from life, training being a small part of that at that point, and then you'll still make progress. I mean, you absolutely will make progress if you put your effort 20 to 40 minutes into one piece a day. You can absolutely continue to get fitter. So I think people who are used to the multiple pieces, like you had said, the mindset shift, Wes, like just remember, you can still make progress. Progress may change for this moment in your life, but it doesn't mean that you're going backwards in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, Wes, anything to add on that as far as the role of training in your life and how that may change with other responsibilities such as children, business ownership, puppies?
Yeah, dude, I think if I just look at this weeks of training, like I spend more time in those weird environments training than I do in a perfect environment in a group class
Yeah.
with the gym where I get to push intensity. Like I get to do that very rarely actually. And so when I get to do, I'm really excited. But like for this week, for example, like on Monday, I did 100 burpees for time in my living room. That's all I had the time for. On Tuesday, I worked out in my garage while my dog was sitting there and had to use my kids' gymnastics bar as like a get over, and because I didn't have a box to jump over. And, and then yesterday I got to work out with the class and it was like the best thing ever. But it was because we had an intern that was interning. So yeah, I think it's more about just keeping going no matter what your environment is. And actually, I think that that really builds mental toughness too. If you do get through those sessions in those imperfect environments, like afterwards you're like, yeah, I did it. Like I did it without a perfect environment. Like I can do that again.
I
Yeah.
feel way more accomplished when I just get like a piece in a day that I thought was a complete waste. I feel so much more satisfied when I just did something. I'm like, damn, how did I check that box today? That's
Totally.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I remember times of out in the garage, I was still lifting. And so it's quite pretty loud, with the weights dropping on, and I platform my garage, but it's like, put the baby in the bouncer or whatever, but then that's pretty loud in there. So I like open the garage door, put the bouncer on like the edge of the garage right by the open door. So it's not as loud and like trying to and then you're like, you do a lift and like check on the baby and do, it's like this whole thing. I also vividly remember the first, Disneyland trip with the kids and staying in this hotel room. And like, I was on this streak of lunges, right? I was doing like 400 meters walking lunges every day. And I was like, well, I don't want to lose my streak just because I'm in Disneyland and like whatever. And so like while the kids were sleeping, I'd get up in the morning and I'd go in the hallway or sometimes during bath time, like end of the day, I've just been walking how many miles all over Disneyland all day and this whole deal and eating, God knows what and the whole deal. And then it's like the kids are in the bath and I'm like, this is it. I got 10 minutes. Like my wife's got the kids are in the bath. And so she's kind of watching them and getting some like decompression. It's like in the hallway of the hotel room, just like walking lunges up and down. But like, you know what? I was really glad when it was over. I was like, you know what? I did it. It was fine. You have a few conversations, during that experience.
Yeah, a couple of people like, the heck?
Yeah, they're like, oh man, I should be doing that. And I'm like, yeah, you probably should. No, I probably should.
Someday, pal.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, I think, basically the main thing we kind of talked about there is that, simply staying in the game is the point of it. Right. And Wes had a little Instagram thing the other day about, the idea of CrossFit and really just training in general is to make the other parts of your life better. Right. And so I think less focus on the workout being the main thing and more of a focus on the workout being what allows you for the main thing, the other stuff to be the main things. Right. So, strip that down. If someone can train 2 to 3 days a week, what has to be in there? Like what is non-negotiable and what can disappear without consequences? Like someone says, this it, like I got 3 days a week, 30 minutes a day. Like Wes, what would you tell that person to do for those 30 minutes 3 times a week?
Oh my gosh, that totally depends on the person, but
nope, everybody's the same.
Got it. Copy that. Go through full range of motion at least one of those days. Like your body needs to compress all the way, it needs to go all the way back up. Like close all your joints and open all your joints for multiple reps, like more than 30, ideally 50, 100 would be really awesome, right? And
100 thrusters for time. Got it.
Or I was going to say, make a body weight, right? Like where you're just like compressing the joints and opening and closing and stuff, or lightweight. And then I would say at least another day, pick up something heavy, and make your, like all your core muscles, really deep core muscles work and wake your central nervous system fire, whatever that is. And then I would say, have fun with your body on another day. So like use that to like go skate or to go mountain bike or to go, play pickup game of basketball at the park or something like that. And use those 2 days to actually express it in some way, and get sweaty doing it.
Yeah. Seth's been having fun with his body and getting sweaty doing it since he was 13. So what do you think, Seth? What's non-negotiable? You got 3 days, 30 minutes a day. What would you encourage that person to do?
I actually really like Wes's answer, but I'll give you where my brain went when you first asked that question. So, like from like a coach programming perspective, it would be like looking at kind of that old school like CrossFit template where we have like almost like a heavy day built in with something that is kind of a complete range of motion, maybe it's a squat clean or something like that, where you get both the pull and the squat. And I'm just spitballing here. Then you have a day that's more like simple, longer, maybe even some rowing intervals with some push-ups, just basic, simple, like longer cardiovascular work. And then you have a day that kind of falls in the middle of that. That's a little more high intensity that maybe mixes in some skills, maybe some kind of classic triplet. And so like Wes's example is more practical and makes the most sense. Mine is like, oh, if I had to program for somebody who only had 40 minutes 3 times a week, this is how I would build my template, and then I would shift things around with that sort of mindset. So that's kind of where my brain went first.
Yeah, I think you guys are both great advice, great tips. Just thinking about it now, talking about that. That's kind of, I think, one heavy day, like pick up something heavy or, do a heavy squat, heavy deadlift. Doesn't really matter. Just like pick a lift where you can move quite a bit of weight and move it far, relatively far, whatever. Right. So yeah, it's the, squat, whatever. It's fun is like find what your 2-rep max thruster is, whatever. Right. Like just like something, well, it doesn't really get that heavy, so it's like not really that intimidating. Yeah.
Spikes on 2 reps. You're like, wow.
Hell yeah.
Why?
Anyway, yeah, something heavy one day, then another day, something like a ruck walk or something maybe a little lower intensity but longer duration, like heart rate elevated for longer duration, and then a third day something a little more high intensity metcon gymnastics type stuff. Very similar with, again, you look at the classic CrossFit 3-day template, like you want to make sure you have gymnastics, and just kind of like go through the different things you're looking for there. Gymnastics day, a strength day, and a metcon day or whatever you want to say, right? So I think that's pretty reasonable. But I like the idea of like get outside and play basketball or go on a ruck walk or do something like that one of those days. If you're not doing something like that, getting outside or something that feels more like a hobby than it does training, then you might end up getting burnt out already. Or maybe those things are already a part of your life and you're not thinking about them like they're training when they actually are, right?
Yeah, totally.
Seth doing his four ruck walk stroller pushes a week, like that's working out, man.
Yeah, for sure.
If someone really just like feels like they don't know what to do, or they just feel like they want some sort of a goal, right? Or again, some kind of guidance in what they can do in limited time. Are they better off chasing strength, conditioning, or just like overall durability?
Feels like a loaded question to me, because I feel like durability is the trait that you would gain from having basic strength and conditioning. Do you have a better definition for durability in terms of like what?
I'd say we'll change that to mobility.
Oh, okay.
Conditioning, strength, or mobility. Ooh. What I see in terms of, you look at the oldest people in the world that live the longest, they usually have the best mobility. Actually, if you look at them, they usually can squat down and sit up pretty good, and they can move around on their own, but they're, actually usually not like super strong people. If we actually look at the really strong people, they kind of die a lot younger usually. They're working their kidneys and their organs a little bit more. So that's a tough question, but I'm going to go with mobility.
I'm going to cheat because I'm going to say strength, because I think that's the hardest to build over time. I think you can get some conditioning back if you prioritize that later a little more quickly than you can build tissue and strength and build your CNS's ability to kind of be there for you when you need it. But if you're doing strength well, mobility should come with it. So that's kind of my like cheating answer. So full range of motion strength work would be if you could only do one thing, that's what you should do.
Yeah, it's tough. There's this podcast episode somebody sent me that just pissed me off the entire time, and I couldn't stop listening because I was like waiting for him to say something good, and everything they came out with just further irritated me. But it was these so-called experts, which whatever, people could say that about us too, I guess. Anyway, who in the longevity field. And something they're talking about is, like whatever, back squats, and people shouldn't do them or whatever for this reason or that reason. And or like, oh, let's talk about nutrition. And like the guy that was the nutrition expert starts talking about like, oh, great snack, like pretzels. And I'm like, oh, dude, like what are we doing? But the one thing about that made me think of that in this instance is talking about the squat, as someone was saying like, well, you don't actually need to be able to squat over body weight. Like if you can squat over body weight, what's the point? Like type thing. And he like really meant this. And it blew my mind because like, where's the room? Where's the margin? Right? Like if like you can, your body, if you just do an air squat, like you just squat just your body weight, but with no external load, like, sure, that's fine. Like, oh, for all, that's all you need to get off the toilet.
I thought you meant like body weight.
No, not like body
weight. Me too.
I meant like your body
good,
weight.
actually.
Oh yeah, I was like, that's fine. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, if you can back squat your body weight, I don't think you really need more than that specifically, right? For like to be healthy longevity wise. But they meant like just your own body. No. Like stand, like if you can use a squat with that just your own body weight, like why do you need more? That's all you need to get off the toilet and all this other stuff. And I was just thinking like, that is the worst opinion I've ever heard. Like there's no room for margin. What happens when you get sick? Like all of a sudden you have the flu and then you're just on, then, well, maybe you're on the toilet all day anyway, but you know, you get the point, like you're dehydrated one morning and like all of a sudden, like now you're just like, you can't stand up. Like that is the worst take I've ever heard. So that's just to say, I think that there is something to be said for strength more than just mobility. Wes's example of, you know, people who are live a long time are mobile. And that's absolutely true. I think, you know, the better your joints are and the more you're able to move yourself around is going to be good for you long term, obviously. But I think it's important to have a little margin, right? And I think that through leaning into Seth's answer a little more, leaning into some strength done certain ways, you can get some conditioning. You know, if you've ever done a, 20 rep back squat, there's definitely some conditioning taking place in there. And then as well as, mobility, if you're doing it properly and that type of stuff. But yeah, it's a loaded question,
Obviously, you want it all, right?
You want it all. So I guess that's the thing. What do you do to get it all? And like,
CrossFit.
I mean,
CrossFit.
I was just going to say, us three homers, CrossFit's the answer. Like it's pretty clear. Like that's what you do. Like,
and not just for us three homers, but for the 15 people we had in my Parkinson's and stroke class today that were doing CrossFit, just like everybody else. Like they did the exact same workout as everybody else today. It was pretty awesome.
I got a lady that I'm doing training with. She actually has a home gym. I give her workouts. I meet with her once a month and she has workouts to at home 3 days a week. But she's in her 60s. She weighs over 300 pounds. She has a bum knee that she's trying to like lose some weight so she can do the things in life she wants to do. And it's like, yeah, dude, I give her like 3 pretty basic CrossFit workouts a week. One that's less than 8 or 9 minutes. One that's between there and 15 minutes, and one that's 15 to 25 minutes. And those are on the different days each week. And it's all pretty, there's, you know what I mean? You go through the movement patterns and it's like, she's loving it and getting results and her knee feels better and all that stuff. And it's like not super complicated. It's not max out your lifts, but it's also not, just go walk for an hour. Like it's basic CrossFit, man.
It sounds like it's confidence building for her.
I think so. I think that's definitely the case.
Yeah,
that's really the answer. Confidence.
Well,
that's what we're going for.
Danny, because I am such a busy dad, I have about 2 minutes till I have to hit a full-on sprint out of here. So just giving you a heads up.
Flip to the coaching side. How many dads disappear because they feel like they're falling behind? And do you think that how many gyms are still messaging fitness like everyone has unlimited recovery time?
I know that our gym definitely has a shift, like we looked at our median age, 10 years ago, it was 25 and now it's like 40. So I know that we have shifted our perspective for sure on that, and making sure that we're recovering and we're doing all the little things and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Seth, I'll go to you on this one. Where does supportive turn into soft?
I think that's independent on the person. I think this is totally skipping out on this answer, but like as an affiliate owner, you have to kind of know your people, and some people need a little more support, and you need to know what drives them and motivates them. And with others, sometimes they need the hard truth about things, and you need to be more direct and firm with them and not be soft. So I definitely think there's a line there. How I would answer that, I don't freaking know, because I've just dealt with so many different people, so many different personalities, and so many things that motivate people in different ways. So that's a tough one for me to sum up for you.
Wes, you got any input on that?
No.
I just don't want to enable. I'm just not going to be an enabler. So sometimes people need to have the hard truth, even when it's not a fun conversation. But other than that, I'm happy to be nice and yeah.
Seth, I'm piggybacking what you're saying real quick. Is something I've said on this show before in previous episodes. Is the old Stoic idea that no virtue is a virtue by itself, and so what is it? Honesty without compassion is actually cruelty, but compassion without honesty is manipulation, right? And so you gotta toe that line of you gotta tell them what's what. You can't just gloss over it, but at the same time, don't be a dick about it, right?
Yeah.
Like here's the truth, but also with the understanding that like sometimes like people are more sensitive about certain things and you don't need to be mean. You don't have to be mean just to tell the truth, right? Like those aren't necessarily, you don't have to be cold to tell the truth.
And if you're too mean and cold and you shut them down, then you've just, it's not even that it's your loss of a client, but you've probably closed them off from listening to other people and you may have just shut the door on them. So you got to toe that line too.
All right, here we go. Lightning round, right? Wrap this thing up. Quick hits. A lot of times old man strength. You say dad strength, old man strength. Is that a real thing? Seth?
No, I haven't experienced a ton of extra old man strength yet. I'm hoping it comes. Maybe if I have a second kid, I'll get a burst of it, but I don't know.
Wes?
I think it comes after the teenage years when you really have to deal with boys.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm waiting on.
Keep those grippers strong. I don't know, man. I've seen some old guys with really strong grips for some reason. I just feel like the older you just like hang on to things. Like your opinions. All right. Worst mid-workout interruption, a crying baby or a text from mom when she's with the baby? Seth?
No, neither. I'm going to say an oblivious person who walks in the gym and can't wait 10 seconds to get your attention and has to disrupt your workout. I think that's and I get it. You're a business owner. You got to do it. But that one gets me more than an upset wife or kid.
Wes?
The kid sucks because you're like, dang it, I thought you were asleep for a while. I thought I had my time.
Yeah, and the text or call from mom when she's with the baby, you can just be like, on my phone, it was over there on silent. I didn't know. You know what I mean? You got an out with the kid, like
the crying baby. Yeah.
Yeah. More dangerous, training exhausted or not training at all?
Not training at all.
Not training at all.
Yeah, there it is. One movement that survives at all times. One movement that will always be there.
For me or in general?
In general. Like, hey, what's one thing that everyone should just keep doing no matter what?
Running.
The burpee.
Well, there we go. We would do a little running burpee workout. Yeah, I think either air squat or burpee. I mean, I think running's there. I think it's a basic human skill, but we got a real small room. Okay. All right. Training during nap time, worth the risk? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. The whole 100 burpees for time part's rough, but that's on vacation a lot. Me and one, it's like if I'm staying somewhere, there's one other person. I'm like, all right. First thing, they're like, you want to work out in the morning? I said, yeah, me and you out on the balcony. We're doing 100 burpees and you do them synchro and you face each other. And every 10 reps, you switch places. It feels like a whole new workout. It's kind of fun. All right. And that's a wrap. Big thanks to Seth Page and Wes Piatt for proving that becoming a dad doesn't make you soft. It just removes your excuses. Go check out Jump Ship Training if you want programming that actually survives real life. And follow Wes if you want coaching advice and reminders that chaos is sometimes normal. Make sure you buy some coffee from Caffeine and Kilos. And if you've ever trained, tired, under-recovered, slightly annoyed, and still convinced yourself it was worth it, congratulations, you're one of us. Send this to the dad who's still pretending. He'll get back to normal soon. And we'll see you next week.